Hi, so let me be the first to apologize for not putting up any content in so long. I am so sorry. There is no excuse. I feel really bad. I feel like a bad friend. And I promise I won't do that again, okay? I have tons of content coming and I'm excited that you are subscribed. And if you are not subscribed, please do, because there's tons for me to talk about. And I just want to share with you about beauty and fashion and health and nutrition and motherhood and how all that is balanced and tied together in my life. This video, I just want to get straight into it. It's all about newborn sleep habits. Sometimes when you're pregnant and you're a mommy for the first time or even the second, people always dramatize how little sleep you're going to get. The baby's going to be up every 2 hours. You're never going to get any sleep. You're going to be so sleep deprived. You're going to be so tired. And, you know, just making it this whole kind of pack of going through the trenches when your baby's a newborn. And that does not have to be your life, okay? It wasn't for me. For both of my children, I was able to use the tips that I'm going to tell you now to help them sleep through the night as newborns. I mean, my daughter, who was my second child, she literally slept through the night when she came home from the hospital. I'm talking about 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. with only one dream feed in between. And someone might get nervous, like, oh my goodness, was she eating enough? She gained 3 pounds from her birth weight to her 4-week appointment. So it worked, and she was fine, and she was great, and she slept well. And guess who also slept well? Me and my husband. So I just want to get started into telling you these 7 tips that I really think will help you to have a little more sleep when your baby's born. So tip number 1, okay. So when I was pregnant with my son, I remembered that I had a biology professor who was talking about the circadian rhythm, which regulates your sleep habits through the sunlight, the lack of it or the presence of it. And lack of it will cause your pineal glands to produce melatonin, and that's what puts you to sleep. So he made this comment and he said, try putting a baby back to sleep after you turn on the lights in the middle of the night. It's horrible. It's throwing off their circadian rhythm. So before I even had my son, I knew to never turn on the lights when the baby woke up in the middle of the night for any reason that's not an emergency. So I did that. I did not turn on the lights. I did not turn on the television, no lamps, no night lights. I made the room as dark as possible for my baby to go to sleep, okay? And in the middle of the night, if he woke up or she woke up for a dream feed, I kept it that way. You know, you kind of check the status, make sure the diaper doesn't have any poop in it. If it's a wet diaper, sometimes they will just sleep right on through it and it's okay. But if it's super wet and they pee through it, you need to change them. So what I would do on those moments where I had to change the baby's diaper, because you kind of want to avoid that, you know, so you don't arouse them too much. But on the times that I had to, I actually had a red light that I would use because it wouldn't disrupt their natural production of melatonin as much. And it actually went around my head like a minor. I looked crazy. My husband thought I looked so crazy. But it worked. I would just put it on top of my head, you know, clean the poopy diaper, and then breastfeed him. So in the middle of the night, you don't want to turn on any lights, no television, and you also don't want to talk. Don't make any noise. Do not talk. You will stimulate them up. It's nighttime. It's time for rest and quiet and peace. The only noise that is acceptable is a consistent, like, noise machine, sound machine. I had a little lamb that made the little noise of a shh or rain or shh, womb sounds, things that are very calming to babies. That's cool because that's not really sharp, stimulating sounds. It's kind of just a very soothing, relaxing sound. So you want to have something like that, but do not talk. Do not talk. Don't say, oh, little baby's up, mommy's coming to get you. Don't do that. No, shh, be quiet. Trust me, trust me, trust me. You will thank me. All right, so on to the next tip. All right, so sleep position is key. Most people in America put their babies on their back. since about the 90s. It's kind of newer. Before then, people put them on their bellies, and in order to decrease SIDS or chances of SIDS, people began to promote putting a baby on their back. So if you put your baby on their back, then you should swaddle them. Yes, swaddle your baby. That really will help the baby feel nice and cozy and warm and secure, almost like it's in the womb again. So this is a perfect way to get a newborn to just lull to sleep and stay asleep through the night. Okay, so what you want to do is you don't want to wait until the baby is overtired to start swaddling the baby, because they'll be screaming and crying. It's difficult. No, you want to do it when they're nice and comfortable, and just get it done early in the routine. And I'll talk about the routine in a second. And then also, once they're swaddled, you want to put them on kind of something that's inclined. So I learned with my son, actually, that if ever he was on his back asleep, because my children, honestly, I had them sleep on their stomachs because they have really, really good head control, and my daughter was rolling over at 10 days old, so I didn't really do much of the back sleeping. They actually slept on flat, clean, firm surfaces on their bellies, but, a lot of parents do on the back. So for my son, when he did sleep on his back and was swaddled, I had to learn to get him in an incline because he would not want to lay all the way flat. And I noticed this with a lot of my friends' babies too. So I gave them the same suggestion, and lo and behold, their babies were sleeping beautifully through the night. So you can kind of get one of those rocking plays or something like that. That's really good. So try that, and they'll feel nice and secure because that surrounds them too, and they'll be more likely to stay asleep. All right, and so tip number 3, which is kind of an obvious one, you want to make sure they have a full belly. So if you're breastfeeding like me, what you want to do is make sure they get both breasts as empty as possible, so their stomach is really full and they won't have a need to wake up as soon, right? So what I would do, because sometimes my children would fall asleep on one boob almost, so in the middle of me nursing them, I would say like, oh my God, I wouldn't say it out loud, but in my head, oh my God, they're about to fall asleep. So I would just quickly kind of, wiggle them over to the next breast so that we could hurry up and get as much milk out of that one as possible to really get their bellies full before I laid them down. That really, really helps, and it makes sense too also for the dream feed to try to get both breasts in. If you are bottle feeding, same thing, you want to make sure that they are full, burp them really well, but just, make sure that they are full before you put them down. 4th tip. You need to have a routine. Having a routine is so critical in making sure that the baby kind of gets themselves mentally ready for a long night's rest. They know that this rest is different from the rest during the day. And I also suggest that kind of like when the rest during the day is different from the nighttime, it kind of helps them to understand that this is where they're going to sleep for a long period of time. So in the daytime, I don't think that you should have the room too dark the way you have it pitch dark when it's nighttime. But you want to have a routine to kind of lead them up as well, and that also encourages them to go to sleep. I do bath bottle bed or bath breast bed. So you give them that nice warm bath, put them in those cozy pajamas. If you're gonna swaddle them up, get them in your arms, and then breastfeed them or bottle feed them, put them to bed. Easy, simple. I prefer starting around 6:30, 7 o'clock for a newborn, but you just honestly should pay attention to your individual baby, because sometimes some babies sleep better if they start at 8, some at 6, so you have to look at their natural sleepiness and just see where that fits for them. And honestly, you'll start seeing it very early on if you distinguish day from night immediately, okay? And that kind of goes back to my original point, but I want to really, really force this down. Also, you want to remember to have a middle of the night routine. So really, really important thing is as soon as the baby cries, respond, okay? This is a newborn. They're probably not going to settle themselves back down. Okay, let's be honest. So they need immediate attention because you don't want them to wake all the way up, So you don't want them screaming and crying. You really just have to hurry up. As soon as you hear them, grab them as assess the situation, make sure there's no poopy diapers, and if there isn't, put them to your breast or give them that bottle, and then let them dream feed, which is sleepy feeding in the middle of the night, and then they will fall asleep honestly within like 5 to 10 minutes. And it really won't take a lot of sleep out of your night. So this is key. Kind of have your middle of the night routine as well, okay? And for my 6th tip, co-sleeping and breastfeeding. Now, I know this is kind of one of those preferences. So if this is not for you, don't worry about this tip. But I think that breastfeeding and co-sleeping really makes it kind of easy to be able to go through the whole newborn stage. Now personally, I always went back and forth between independent sleeping and co-sleeping. My newborns would sleep separately and also sleep with me. And the reason why was because things kind of changed with newborns, and that's going to be my last tip where I get more in detail with that. But also with co-sleeping, it'll be very easy for me to just kind of turn and breastfeed on demand if they needed to dream feed. It made it so I did not have to get up at all. And you need that peace of mind. You need your sleep. Your hormones are re-regulating, so you just want to be able to cozy up with your baby and breastfeed, co-sleep, and not have to worry about anything. And this ties into my last tip, which is expect growth spurts. Be realistic. They are not going to sleep through the night every single night. It just isn't realistic. Sometimes they're going to need much more food than they need normally. And that's why I said it ties back to my 6th tip, because those times you actually don't notice as much when you're co-sleeping and breastfeeding, because you can kind of just lay there, like I said before, and be available for them to do their dream feeding as much as possible, or as much as they need to, without you having to actually get up, go get the baby out the bassinet or the rocker or the crib, not rocker, but on the rock and play, whatever it's called, or bassinet, and, you know, physically get yourself up, which kind of wakes you up a little bit. You know, you can just lay there. Honestly, heaven for me, because I was well rested and I got tons of sleep and I was happy and I wasn't sleep deprived, and yeah, I wasn't a cranky little mommy. Who likes a cranky mommy? Not me. No. So those are my tips. I hope you found them helpful, and let me know if you tried any. Comment below. Let me know what works for you, what didn't. Remember, every baby's different. Just because, you know, they don't get it the first week or the second doesn't mean that it's not coming. So just stick with it, be consistent, be patient, and it will all work out. The baby is going to sleep, and this is just a special time. So I just wanted to give this video to all of my moms and subscribers out there who just had a baby or are looking forward to having a baby, and give them the tips and tricks that really, really worked for me. So if you haven't subscribed, again, subscribe, and I have more videos coming soon, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.